So today we are studying first chapter from the census lectures on the heritage of the ultimate law. This is the part of mandated reading for BSG level 3 exam. Heritage of the ultimate law of life is the Gosho which is explained in detail by sensei. The explanation is compiled over 13 chapters. All 13 chapters are part of level 3 exam curriculum. So what I will do is try to explain these 13 chapters based on sensei's guidance. Hope it will be super helpful for everyone, not just from the exam point of view, but to deepen faith as well. With this intent, let's start. Now, the title of the Gosho is The Heritage of the Ultimate Law of Life. It was written in 1272 by Nichiren Daishonin to Sairenbo, a former Tendai priest who became his disciple. So we understand that while this Gosho is between mentor and disciple, however, disciple himself was a learned person and was Tendai school priest. One of the reason that this Gosho is so deep and lot of technical words are used because of this reason. The disciple has high intellectual understanding. So Nichiren also got liberal with using the technical words to make the disciple understand fully. Also, the title of the Gosho is derived from the fact that Siren Bo himself asked that what is ultimate law of life? Because this is the one phrase which was coming again and again in their Tendai school. As we progress to other chapters, we realize that mostly Siren Bo wrote a very detailed letter to Nichiren Daishonin talking about various aspects. And this Gosho, the heritage of the ultimate law of life, was written as a reply to that letter. So we can understand that Siren Bo has a deep seeking spirit, flexible mindset, considering Tendai priests getting converted to Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism, and has intellectual capability as well. So when we understand the background, the context, it helps us to get the narrative set for the overall Gosho. Now, the purpose of this Gosho is to explain how the heritage, the lifeblood of law of Namyo Rengekyo flows through faith based on the oneness of mentor and disciple. The heritage of the ultimate law of life and death is nothing other than law of Namyo Rengekyo. If I have to take a single takeaway from the entire Gosho across all the chapters, this is it, right? However, there are a lot of nuances which will be studied. This is a very deep topic. I myself read this chapter multiple times, went through seniors' lectures, study on the lot of lectures seniors have given on it. I have gone through it multiple times to start getting some sense, right? And why this is difficult? Because it is talking about life and death, the two key aspects of any living being. And as you all are preparing for level 3, so you can understand the complexity, the difficulty also increases. Level 1 talks more about basics, level 2 goes deep into the concepts, level 3 is all about internalizing the concept of Namyo Rengekyo, which is nothing but the law of life and death. So that is why at the level 3 Soka Gakkai BSG is expecting us to really stand and start internalizing Namyo Rengekyo, right? So that is why you have to ponder on this topic again and again, right? To understand these two topics, life and death, right? The same topic, the life and death, which led Prince Siddharth to renounce everything and became Gautam Buddha. So, if we understand life and death, we will be able to understand the heart of Gautam Buddha, heart of Lotus Sutra. And once we understand how to lead a fruitful life, then eventually we will understand death. And when we understand death, we will be able to lead a more fruitful life, cherishing every day of life fully. So it's like a cycle. If we understand death, then we understand life. And if we understand life, we will be cherishing each day and then we will be embracing death in a better way. So let's go to the Gosho. Now, now if we look at the title of the first chapter, the word used here is ultimate. Let's focus on the word ultimate for a minute. Ultimate, if I go by English dictionary, it means the final, the greatest, fundamental, the most significant. Nothing can be more important than this, unsurpassed, right? So when we are reading this chapter, we should not have any ambiguity, any doubt, or any confusion. What you are going to read in this chapter is the only text you need to know and understand if you want to know about law governing life and death. This is the law that explained here is the universal principle governing life and death. It is ultimate because why we are saying that this law is ultimate, because this is the law which is applicable for all living beings from the past, present and future, beyond class, creed or nationality. In fact, preaching this law is one of the great reasons that Shakyamuni Buddha appeared in this world. Understanding this law is central to understanding what enlightenment means. The reason we suffer in this world is because we are delusional. We are ignorant around the workings of birth, aging, sickness, and death. When you understand this law, you will understand that everything is interconnected and interdependent. Truly understand you will be able to truly understand the principles of interdependence, and we will get freed from the chain of this delusion, ignorance, and the fundamental darkness. We will cast off the delusion and suffering. Now, before going deep into this chapter, let's understand how life and death are viewed by different religions and how Buddhism is specifically with respect to Lotus Sutra talks about it. So, one extreme of the religion about that there is nothing after death. So, once you die, everything goes to zero. Khatam, tata, bye bye. So, something on those lines. So, there is one extreme view which says that there is nothing after death, uh, and ultimately, whatever you have is in this life itself, right? Now, this view can create fear in the people. This view can create hopelessness. If somebody is 60-year old, 70-year old, and they when they look back their life, they may say, hey, I've done nothing, and maybe whatever I have done, it is about to come to zero, right? At the same time, it can also give a sense that whatever we are doing, uh, the people say that we only live once, right? So that is something derived from this philosophy, that nothing after death. The other extreme view is that nothing will change. You are unchanging soul. You will not go anywhere. You will come back in the same shape and form. You are permanent, right? So some talks about some eternal spiritual entity that transcend the present self, and you will continue in the form of an unchanging everlasting soul. So this view also is one extreme. On the one side, the other extreme view was where it was saying that everything comes down to zero. It is saying nothing comes down to zero. Whatever you have, it will continue like this and you will continue in the form of a soul or in some other spiritual entity, and you are not going anywhere, right? So if I have that extreme view, it ultimately leads to lot of attachment to the material things. It will result in the stagnation. It will result in the delusion. If you think about the entire Egyptian mummies, so you can see that all the entire concept was based on this concept only, because they believed that all the pharaohs, all the kings will continue, and that's why they used to mummify the body, and they used to put lot of jewelry, gold, so that the person when they again get awakened, they will have all the wealth and material with them for their next life or the next the person is permanent, the body is required, it's just a matter of transition. So that is another extreme, right? Now let's talk about Buddhism. So Buddhism talks about middle way, right? um, so if you look, so there, though both views are extreme, but there is one thing common in both of the views, right? Both of the views are talking about the question of death from the point of birth onwards. So both the extreme views are saying that, hey, now I have taken a birth. Afterwards, what will happen? So, what happened before birth? No one is talking about. So, if somebody is dying in the one extreme view, they are saying nothing, you are going to zero. Okay, that's fine. But what about prior to birth? Is it a random event that happened? Or there was some method to madness of how we are taking birth in a particular family? That question doesn't able to, so they're talking from the birth onwards. If we talk about the other extreme, that I am attached to the things, and I'll take all the belongings with myself in the next life. That's perfectly fine. But what about the, you are talking from the birth onwards, that you have accumulated this much. If that view is correct, then what happened when you took the birth in this life? Where were all your belongings and attachment? So both the views though are extreme, but they are focusing only from the point of view birth onwards. And these neither of these view can really make people gain absolute happiness, right? So what is the Buddhist middle way? Buddhism rejects both extremes. Buddhism considers that life and death are the two phases of the same eternal rhythm, and life and death are the two aspects of the mystic law itself. So, middle way is that while we are alive, live in such a manner that we won't have fear of death. In one way, that is the ultimate purpose of our practice, elevating our life state while alive to such an extent that we don't have fear of death at all. So, middle way is saying that neither of the extreme, and Buddhist view is that life and death are the two sides of the same coin. And what other coin is? It is the eternal rhythm of the universe. So, Buddhism view of life and death. So, life and death comprise the great and eternal rhythm of the universe itself. And this cycle will continue to repeat. And what is the rhythm of universe? It is the birth and death, life and death, a rising and extinction of all phenomena. Now, a rising and extinction can happen in some nanoseconds, it can happen in some microseconds, in some days, years, or some aeons, thousands of years. But this is the cycle, this is the rhythm of the universe. If one has birth, then death is the other part, and vice versa. Vice versa. If somebody has got extinct, then they will again arise, right? Birth and death are inherent part of life. Just like we cherish birth and afterwards, we must cherish death and afterwards. This is the rhythm which is working within us. Once we understand it, we get liberated. Harmony and dynamism of universe is maintained because of this rhythm of universe. This is the rhythm of life and death. And chanting Namyoho Renge Kyo is the path of this inner liberation. Myo means death. And why we are saying that Namyoho Renge Kyo is the rhythm of the universe? Because this mystic law in itself embodies two phases of life and death. Myo, when we chant Namyo Renge Kyo, Myo means death. It means latent life. It means the unmanifested form of the life. And what is Ho? Ho means the manifested form of the life. So mystic law is, and combining Myo and Ho, it is called mystic law. So mystic law is the eternal law of universe. Whosoever, and technically everyone who is living beings, goes through this cycle of life and death, which is governed by this mystic law, Namyo Renge Kyo. Myo also means to revive and revitalize, because think of death like a sleep. If we are really tired and if we go for if we take a sleep of 8 hours, that when we get awakened, when we wake up from that sleep, we feel revitalized, we feel revived, we get the energy again, spring forth from within. So that's the reason Myo, which is a death, which is a latent life, which is the unmanifest form of life, right? It is also called revitalizing, and you are starting a new life afterwards. So this is the ultimate law of the universe, ultimate rhythm of the universe, which is operating in the universe and in our life itself. Now the idea is how to align with this rhythm. If we align with this rhythm, if we are in alignment and in sync with the rhythm, then all the benefits we can get when we are in sync with the rhythm, right? And what is the intent of aligning with this rhythm is so that we can elevate our life condition through faith and practice. And by chanting Namyo Renge Kyo, we can harmonize one's life with the rhythm of the universe. Now, you understand the word ultimate. We talked about the word ultimate. The significance is here itself. Ultimate because this is universal law for enlightenment. Irrespective of your caste, creed, nationality, past, present, and future, this is the universal law applicable to attain enlightenment. And this is the same law that gave enlightenment to Shakyamuni Buddha. Anyone who practices this law can become happy and attain enlightenment. And by practicing this law, we are aligning with the rhythm of the universe. And when we align with the rhythm of the universe, we can reap the benefits, we can harness the power of the universe. And when we get aligned by chanting Namyo Renge Kyo, and we align with the and we harness the power of the universe, so ultimately we get courage, compassion, wisdom, absolute happiness, good fortune. Courage, compassion, and wisdom to lead current life, courage, absolute happiness, and good fortune to lead current life and face death and to carry on with this rhythm of universe for entity, right? Now we understand the law of life and death, which is nothing but Namyoho Rengekyo. It is the rhythm of universe. Now the point is how to inherit the law. We have understood that what is the law of the universe, and if we align ourselves with this law, then we can get everything in abundance from the material world point of view and from the spiritual point of view. When we understand that death is also a part of the rhythm, then we will be able to embrace the death with the same dignity, with the same courage, like we are leading our life on a daily basis, right? Now, how to inherit, how to how to inherit this rhythm of the universe, that is a bigger question, right? Now, the heritage of the law can only be inherited through one word: faith. Faith is the deep conviction that Namyo Rengekyo exists within one's own life. Not theoretical, not intellectually, but we must live through chanting and action. Only through faith and chanting with clear belief that Namyo Rengekyo exists nowhere but within our lives. Faith and anxiety cannot coexist. Yes, there will be gloomy days, days when nothing is moving, nothing is going right, and that is when you have to hold on to the faith. Even the most learned disciple like Shariputra, Ananda, were also not able to comprehend the Buddha's wisdom completely. And that's when Shakyamuni told them that the door to wisdom, door to enlightenment can only be opened through faith and only faith. In our liturgy, when we are doing Gongyo, if you go to the last pages where the translation is available, you will see that Shakyamuni Buddha starts with the fact that the wisdom of the Buddha is so deep and so magnified that no one here will be able to understand. So that essentially means that even if we understand theoretically or intellectually, however, we can really inherit the law, we can really continue with the heritage of the law through faith and faith alone. That is the only way. So intellectualism, articulation, being scholarly, you know you are a scholar in Buddhism, that's all fine. That's okay. But if you really want to implement the practice, if you really want to reap the dividends from the practice, that you can only the and if you really want to live the rhythm of the universe, lead the life and face the death with complete dignity and with complete absolute happiness, then only and only faith can help you, right? The heritage of the law flows in faith alone. Now, what is the meaning of faith? Right? So, faith we have to put in what? If I'm saying I have a faith in Namyo Rengekyo, if I'm saying I have a faith in mystic law, what does it basically means? It means that I have a faith in Lotus Sutra. It means I have a faith in Gohanzon. It means I have a complete faith in Namyo Rengekyo. The faith that every invocation of Namyo Rengekyo is creating the boundless good fortune in my life. Now, understand this. Faith in Buddhism is not passive faith. It is not faith in isolation, something which you are practicing alone, right? Faith is not about just practicing alone. That is not the intent. In Buddhism, in Nichiren Buddhism, faith is all about putting the faith to the practice, right? And Buddhism is all about compassion. So if you have a faith and if you are doing practice in isolation, then you are actually not following Nichiren Buddhism, maybe something else, right? Um, that is not the intent of heritage of faith, right? Even embracing the Lotus Sutra would be useless without the heritage of faith. Faith to not just study Buddhism theoretically, but with my life. Toda Sensei said that please attain a state of life of true happiness based on the heritage of the faith, and please focus here this particular line, and please enable others to do the same. So this is the essence of the faith in Namyo Renge-kyo, faith in the mystic law. So, steadfastly upholding genuine faith at each moment of our life, so that even if we were faced with our death, we would have no regrets and would be able to calmly transcend the suffering of death. And when we do so, we are technically upholding it through three existences: past, present, and future. It means life after life, you will continue to chant. This is exactly what we pray also when we do memorial Kongyo and memorial Tamoko, right? And if we continue to maintain our faith till the end of our life, that essentially means that we have attained the Buddhahood in this lifetime. Now, I understand that Namyo Renge Kyo is the rhythm of universe, and the rhythm of universe is life and death. Everyone who has been born will die. Everyone which has been awakened, it will go to the extinction for sure. That is a rhythm, and this rhythm of universe is governed by the mystic law, which is nothing but Namyo Renge Kyo. And if I have to inherit this law, then uh, I have to work on my faith. I can be very good intellectually. I can explain all the Buddhist concept in a perfect manner. However, if I really want to harness the power and attain Buddhahood in this lifetime, I have to continue chanting till the end of my life. If I really want the benefits of courage, compassion, good fortune, wisdom, and absolute happiness in my life, then the faith is the only way, right? And of course, faith increases as we study and and as we practice. It's not a faith in isolation. It's not something I'm happy myself that I understood things and now I'm chanting at my home. This is not something Buddhism. Buddhism doesn't work like that. Buddhism is all about compassion. It's not just about me who is becoming happy. Can I make sure all the entire world can become happy? That is the ultimate goal of Buddhism. Now, um, I am able to inherit, but if I really want to continue this legacy, what should I do? So I understand Namyo Renge Kyo, I understand the faith. Now I have to continue with this faith throughout my life, right? Now, accepting is one thing and continuing is other. To really continue till the end and achieve the ultimate victory, we need to follow the path of mentor and disciple and many in body, one in mind. These are the two important pillars of faith. Okay. Buddhism, like I said, that Buddhism is based on the compassion. Like we say in Hindi, that hum hi hum hai to kya hum hai, tum hi tum ho to kya tum ho, right? So we are not just happy by attaining enlightenment for ourselves, but the deep compassion within us makes us to make sure that everyone gets enlightenment. This is the true meaning of Kosen Rufu. This is the true meaning of carrying the heritage of the law. And the way to continue this heritage, simple formula: mentor and disciple relationship, and many in body, one in mind. Okay. Now, let's talk about mentor and disciple relationship. So, Daishonin cites the name of Bodhisattva superior practices as a teacher or mentor who takes on the commitment to live and take action with this spirit. Now, Bodhisattva superior practices, if we go back to Lotus Sutra, we also understand that Bodhisattva superior practices was the leader of Bodhisattvas of the earth, and Nichiren Daishonin, through his own life and experiences, got awakened to the fact that he is in fact the Bodhisattva superior practices. So, if we look at the life of Nichiren Daishonin also, it was something where he really continued till the end of his life. And it was not something a passive faith that he understood the law and then he's chanting and getting awakened and enlightened. He went through a lot of hardships and persecution, for the because he had a deep compassion to make sure the entire Jambudvipa, entire world, able to gain enlightenment, attain enlightenment, right? The heritage of ultimate law of life and death only flows in faith that is based on the oneness of mentor and disciple. And mentor disciple bond is something which is a deep karmic bond. Okay. um, and who is the disciple? Disciple is the one who takes up the same vow for Kosunofu, to cherish the same desire, great desire, and to fight with the same spirit of selfless commitment as the mentor, even in the face of arduous difficulties. Is the path of oneness of mentor and disciple in the struggle for Kosunofu. Now, if we look at the mentor and disciple lineage, so it passed on from Shakyamuni to many treasures Buddha, and from many treasures Buddha to superior practices Bodhisattva, and from superior practice Bodhisattva, which is nothing other than Nichiren, it passed on to all the Bodhisattvas of the earth. Now, the same legacy has been continued by the Soka Gakkai through its three president, with first president literally giving his life for his belief. Second president is established the idea and practice of Soka Gakkai, laid framework for the harmonious community through Soka Gakkai, achieved a million household number against the target of 750,000. And then the third president, Sensei Ikeda, took the initiatives, took the law outside Japan and spread it into the entire world. So this is the legacy we are inheriting. This is a legacy which we really need to continue. to make sure that we are upholding the faith in a right manner. Okay. Now the other element apart from the mentor and disciple is many in body, one in mind. Now, how heritage of Namyo Rengekyo flows in our life is when we cherish the great desire for Kosundufu and chant Namyo Rengekyo with the unity of many in body, one in mind. And what is Kosundufu? It is the mission to help all people transcend the suffering of death and actualize lives of genuine happiness and create a world where genuine peace prevails, right? So the life current of Namyo Rengekyo flows when practitioners share the same spirit as their mentor, right? And the heritage flows within the community of those united in the spirit of many in body, one in mind. So when you carry out dialogue, you are invoking Bodhisattva, never disparaging within your life. When we so the formula to achieve Kosen Rufu is nothing but bond of mentor and disciple plus man in body, one in mind. And if we look at the current scenario and the current current time, it is the Soka Gakkai which helps us to practice correctly the mentor disciple path plus many in body, one in mind. When this path flows vibrantly as a lifeblood, transmitting the philosophy and practice of the Darshan Buddhism throughout the world, the foundation of Kosen Rufu in the present age will have been completed. So now we have, if I have to just quickly tell you what we have done till now is we talked about the ultimate law of life and death, which is nothing but the rhythm of the universe. Buddhism says that life and death are both part of they're the two sides of the same coin, and the rhythm of the universe is nothing but Myoho Renge Kyo. Myo means death, Ho means life. Death, Myo also means to revitalize and to revive oneself, right? Because think of death like a sleep. So waking up and sleeping is part of our daily routine. Similarly, life and death is a rhythm of the universe. It is a part of the routine of the universe. Now, if I really understand Namyo Renge Kyo, then if I really want to understand Namyo Renge Kyo, I can understand intellectually, theoretically. However, through my life, I have to really understand, and it is only be done through the five-letter word that is faith. Now I understood faith. Now I have to carry on with this faith throughout my life, right? That can only be done when I am following the path of mentor and disciple and the path of man in body, one in mind. And if we look at the legacy, it is the Soka Gakkai which is following this path, which is the path of mentor and disciple, and through community, through our organization, the concept of man in body, one in mind. Now, the ultimate purpose, so now we understood Buddhism is all about compassion. The ultimate purpose of the this heritage is to make sure all people transcend suffering of death and attain genuine happiness, right? So true compassion is not that I have got enlightenment and that's it, khatam, bye bye, मैं जा रहा हूँ, मेरा हो गया. It's not about this. It's about the others happiness too. If you think from the Shakyamuni Buddha's time itself, right? Shakyamuni Buddha uh, Shakyamuni Buddha got enlightenment, but to make sure all the other people also able to attain enlightenment, he preached for the next 45, 50 years. Correct. The same goes for Nichiren Daishonin. When he got awakened to the law of Namyo Renge Kyo, the same law which made Shakyamuni Buddha got enlightened, it was not something he kept it to himself. It was something he went through sort of a lot of persecution. So that is the ultimate essence. And if we look, the Soka Gakkai is the only one that has inherited this lifeblood of faith and Kosen Rufu in modern time through the three presidents, right? Um, and Soka Gakkai is the one, and so it's very important to practice within Soka Gakkai and supporting in every way possible, right? If we really want to continue on this path of Namyo Renge Kyo. Now, sometimes question arise that we are talking about, as we talked about uh, in the beginning, that the one extreme way is where we are attached to the material things. However, in Buddhism, we also talk about earthly desires or enlightenment. Are not these two things conflicting with each other? Now, some people may get confused that while we are focusing on continuing till the end and face the death gracefully with a lot of dignity and with embracing it with full of happiness. However, we also say earthly desires are enlightenment. So how to marry these two things? That one time we are saying that earthly desires are enlightenment, and we are saying that do not get attached to the earthly desire, earthly material things, and death you have to embrace the death. Right now, earthly desires are enlightenment. Now everything, all your desires, challenges, suffering can become the source of joy when we base our life on Namyo Renge Kyo. Nirvana here means that death is not the end but the rhythm of the universe. So when we born and when we die, So think of it like a graph of our life, and the graph should only go upwards. And when we die, with that disappearance from this world, we are again getting merged with the mu part of the universe, and the graph will continue from there itself, right? And that's the reason we are saying earthly desires and enlightenment, because when we have those desires to have a better house, better car, or maybe better job, better fair relationship, better health, all these desires are propelling us to chant more and face all these challenges, expiate our negative karma, and continue to make sure our graph is upward trending, right? Now, the other question is overcoming fear of death. Everything said in death, everything said and done. However, uh, how do we come over the emotions of death of near and dear ones? Some people say that, okay, that's fine, I can face death. I am practicing Nichiren Daishin Buddhism, but not everyone in my family is practicing, right? And of course, I'm attached to my, mother, my father, my, siblings, and my, wife and children. How do we really embrace and understand this concept and, come over the emotions of near and dear one? That is a big challenge for sure. Whenever that happens in family, it is an emotional element. However, in the inner depth of our life, you are calm. Developing this life state which can overcome and move on and lead a fulfilled life, that is the ultimate purpose of our practice, right? It's not like that emotions will not surface. It's not like that. It will surface. However, deep inside, we have to be very strong. We have to be very calm, and we understand this is the rhythm of universe. The fear and anxiety of our and loved ones is something difficult, and this is something which we cannot understand intellectually. This is something we have to internalize, and and able to ultimately understand from our life itself. Now, the very important thing is, like we said, that mentor and disciple relationship is very important, right? So, connecting with sensei becomes a central focus for us, because when we connect with sensei, we will be able to practice. We will be able to practice our faith in a right manner. And what is the best way to connect with sensei is by reading sensei's guidance and applying it in our daily life. In one way, we are identity that we are disciple of sensei. I am maybe a banker, I may be entrepreneur, I may be whatever I am in the secular world. But my true identity is that I am Bodhisattva of the earth, and I am disciple of sensei, right? And Soka Gakkai is the only organization who carried forward this lineage of mentor and disciple and many in body and one in mind from the Nichiren Daishonin times, right? So it is very important to practice within Soka Gakkai and supporting it in every way, so that ultimately it comes as a benefit to us, and to us only. With this, we are done with this chapter. Now, there are certain keywords which I would highly recommend you to ponder over it again and again, because this chapter ultimately sets the tone for all the coming chapters, right? If you understand the first chapter clearly, then think of the other chapters, pondering over these keywords in detailed way. So, like the nutshell of the entire 13th chapter is that Namyo Rengekyo is the ultimate law of life and death. However, each chapter delves into one element or one aspect of this or the another. Right. So first chapter is very important. It sets the tone. We talked about certain keywords which you should ponder over again and again, um, like ultimate law, the rhythm of life and death, Myo Ho, passing on the heritage, lineage from Shakyamuni Buddha to Soka Gakkai, faith, oneness of mentor and disciple, many in body, one in mind, Kosen Rufu, earthly desires and enlightenment, attaining Buddhahood in this lifetime. These are the key, keywords, important words for over which you should really, ponder over. And you can pause the video here and go through this question. So of course, everything said and done, we are preparing for the exam, and we have to do good, perform good in exam as well. So can we really articulate what we understood? Can we really put into paper? That is also required, and being a leader, we are doing it so that we can explain it better to all the other members, right? So and to do more chakubuku, right? So I have listed down few questions on which you should ponder, and then ultimately try to see, if you are able to answer these questions or not through your life, right? So these are the few questions. You can pause and go through this question and see if you really understand, or if not, then Anyways, I will recommend that go through the official book. Once you go through this video, then the next step should be go through the official book as well, and then if required, go through this video again and again and again to make sure you are able to internalize this question, able to understand this question's answers, right? So with this, the next steps: go through the official book and try to relate with this video. Watch this video again and again if need be, and ponder over this question and the keywords, right? And with this, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening till the end, and see you in the next video. Thank you.